Here I am at 46, stepping onto the downtown 6 train like I have 1,000 times before. Except tonight feels different. The fluorescent lights flicker overhead while I grip the cold metal pole, my knuckles, white from the tension that never seems to leave my shoulders anymore. 22 years on the force, and I'm questioning everything after today's crime scene. Another senseless murder with 0 leads and a killer who vanishes like smoke. The train lurches forward, and that's when I see her. Blonde hair catches the artificial light, flowing past shoulders that seem to carry an invisible weight. She's maybe mid-30s, sitting 3 seats away with her eyes closed, but there's something about her that makes me forget the blood-soaked apartment I just left. Green eyes flutter open and find mine instantly, like she knew I was watching. Time stops. Not in some romantic movie bullshit way, but literally. The train screech fades. Conversations blur into white noise, and I'm drowning in those emerald depths. She tilts her head slightly, studying me with an intensity that should make me uncomfortable. Instead, heat spreads through my chest. Signal malfunction ahead. The conductor's voice crackles. We'll be delayed approximately 15 minutes. Perfect. Just damn perfect. The woman stands, moving with fluid grace toward my section. Up close, she's even more striking. High cheekbones, full lips, skin that looks like it's never seen New York's harsh winters. Professional instincts scream stranger danger, but something deeper whispers trust her. You're hurting, she says softly, her voice carrying a slight accent I can't place. Excuse me? The darkness around you, it's suffocating. She gestures vaguely at the space near my head. Someone died today. Someone young. My blood turns to ice. How the hell do you know that? She doesn't flinch at my sharp tone. I see things, feel them. The victim. She had blonde hair like mine. 19, maybe 20. She was scared but tried to fight. Every detail hits like a physical blow. Sarah Mitchell, 19-year-old college student, found strangled in her studio apartment 6 hours ago. Blonde hair tangled in her lifeless fingers where she'd clawed at her attacker. Who are you? I whisper. Alexa Young. And you're Detective Faith Anderson, assigned to the Mitchell case. Are you following me? Working with someone? My hand instinctively moves toward my service weapon. I was coming home from the grocery store when I felt her calling out. Pulled me onto this train. Alexa's eyes fill with tears. She wants justice, Detective Anderson. She's still here, still fighting. The rational part of my brain catalogs this as textbook psycho behavior. But something in Alexa's expression, raw pain mixed with determination, reminds me of my own reflection after too many unsolved cases. That's impossible, I say, even as goosebumps race up my arms. She says to tell you about the red bracelet, the one hidden under her mattress. My knees nearly buckle. We haven't released that detail to anyone. A small red bracelet with her initials, discovered during the secondary search. Only the killer and the investigation team know. What else? The question escapes before I can stop it. She trusted him, let him in willingly. Someone she knew from school. Alexa's voice grows stronger. He's done this before, Detective, and he'll do it again soon if you don't stop him. The train shudders back to life, breaking whatever spell has settled over us. My stop approaches, and I should walk away from this woman who claims to talk to the dead. Should pretend this conversation never happened. Instead, I pull out my business card. If you really can help Sarah, call me tomorrow. My fingers brush hers as she takes the card, and electricity shoots up my arm. But if you're playing some sick game, I'll destroy you. Alexa's smile transforms her entire face. I'll call you, Faith. Sarah won't rest until her killer faces justice. The doors slide open, and I step onto the platform on unsteady legs. As the train pulls away, I catch one last glimpse of those green eyes watching me through the window. 22 years of police work, and I've never felt anything like the certainty burning in my chest. Whatever Alexa Young is, fraud, psychic, or something in between, tomorrow everything changes. I just don't know if I'm ready for it. 3 days of dead ends and sleepless nights later, I'm staring at Sarah Mitchell's case file like it holds the secrets of the universe. The red bracelet sits in evidence, mocking me with its silence. Conventional leads have evaporated, and Captain Morrison is breathing down my neck for results. My fingers hover over Alexa's business card for the 100th time. Screw it, I mutter, dialing before logic can interfere. I was wondering when you'd call. Her voice carries that same mysterious warmth from the subway. I need help. Officially, this conversation never happened. Meet me at Central Park, Bethesda Fountain, 1 hour. She hangs up before I can argue. The November air bites through my jacket as I approach the fountain. Alexa sits on the stone steps, eyes closed, completely still despite tourists flowing around her. Today she wears a simple black coat that makes her hair seem to glow. You came, she says without opening her eyes. Against my better judgment. I sit beside her, maintaining professional distance. How does this work exactly? Give me something of Sarah's, something personal. I pull out an evidence bag containing Sarah's necklace, a small silver cross her mother insisted she always wore. Alexa's fingers wrap around the plastic, and her entire body goes rigid. She's here, Alexa whispers. Angry, so angry. What does she see? Alexa's eyes snap open, but they're unfocused, seeing something beyond the present. Tall, dark hair, glasses sometimes. He studies with her Tuesday evenings, literature class. My pulse quickens. Name? Michael? Marcus? She frowns, pressing the bag against her forehead. He brought coffee. Always coffee. She thought he was sweet. Anything else? A scar. Here. Alexa traces a line across her left eyebrow. From childhood, he's left-handed, drives a blue sedan. Every detail feels like a puzzle piece clicking into place. I grab my phone, calling Rodriguez at the precinct. Run Sarah Mitchell's class roster. Focus on males, literature courses, first name starting with M. We walk toward the park's edge, Alexa still clutching the evidence bag. Her face has gone pale, sweat beading despite the cold. This takes everything out of you, doesn't it? Sometimes. Sarah's pain is intense. She trusted him completely. Something in her voice makes me stop walking. You've been betrayed too. Alexa meets my eyes and I see a vulnerability that mirrors my own. Ex-girlfriend. She couldn't handle what I am. Called me a freak. The admission hangs between us like a bridge neither expected to cross. Here I am, a cop who's spent decades keeping people at arm's length, suddenly wanting to comfort this woman who talks to ghosts. People fear what they don't understand, I say quietly. Is that why you've been alone so long? The question hits like a physical blow. How could you possibly know that? I don't need psychic abilities to recognize loneliness, Faith. I see it every time I look in the mirror. My phone buzzes. Rodriguez has 3 potential matches, but one stands out. Marcus Thompson, 22, literature major. Campus parking records show a blue Honda Civic registered to his name. We need to check his dorm room, I say, already moving toward my car. He's not there. Alexa's certainty stops me cold. He's hunting again. What? There's another girl. Short brown hair, art student. She's with him right now, thinking it's just coffee and conversation. Terror claws at my chest. Where? Alexa closes her eyes again, swaying slightly. Off campus. Quiet street. A coffee shop with blue awnings. I know the place. Luna's Cafe, 3 blocks from the university. My car tears through traffic as I radio for backup, Alexa gripping the dashboard beside me. She's in danger, Alexa whispers. He's walking her to his car. We screech to a halt outside Luna's, just as a tall figure with dark hair guides a petite brunette toward a blue Honda. The girl looks nervous but trusting. Exactly like Sarah must have. Marcus Thompson, NYPD, I shout, weapon drawn. He freezes, then shoves the girl away and bolts down an alley. I'm after him instantly, years of foot pursuits paying off as I tackle him to the asphalt. The struggle is brief. He's not built for violence, just manipulation. You're under arrest for the murder of Sarah Mitchell. As I cuff him, he looks over my shoulder at Alexa, who's comforting the shaken art student. How did you know? He asks. Someone who cared enough to fight back. Later, at the precinct, Marcus confesses everything. Sarah had rejected his advances, and his ego couldn't handle the rejection from someone he considered beneath him. 3 other victims in different states, all following the same pattern. Good work, Anderson, Captain Morrison says, but his eyes linger on Alexa with suspicion. Outside the building, rain begins to fall. Alexa and I stand under the precinct's awning, suddenly awkward now that the adrenaline has faded. "Thank you," I say. "You saved that girl's life." "We saved her. Together." The way she says "together" sends warmth through my chest. Before I can overthink it, I step closer, my hand reaching up to cup her cheek. Her skin is soft, still cold from the rain. "Faith," she whispers. I lean in, and her lips meet mine softly at first, then with growing intensity. She tastes like coffee and something indefinably sweet. When we break apart, I'm breathless. "This complicates things," I murmur. "The best things always do." Thunder rolls overhead, but I barely notice. For the first time in years, the darkness that follows me everywhere has lifted, replaced by something I'd forgotten existed. Hope. 2 days after the arrest, I can't stop thinking about that kiss. The taste of Alexa's lips haunts me through morning briefings and afternoon paperwork. I've replayed it 100 times, each memory making me want her more. My apartment feels different when I invite her over for dinner. Suddenly the bachelor pad I've called home for 8 years looks shabby, worn leather. Furniture, empty pizza boxes, a kitchen that screams confirmed workaholic, but Alexa walks in like she belongs here. "Nice place," she lies smoothly, running her fingers along my bookshelf. "You don't have to pretend. I know it's a mess. It's lived in, honest." She turns, and those green eyes hold mine, like you. We order Thai takeout because I can't cook anything that won't poison us both. Sitting cross-legged on my couch, sharing pad Thai containers, feels more intimate than any fancy restaurant could. "Tell me something true," I say, watching her twirl noodles on plastic chopsticks. "I've been seeing dead people since I was 7. "That's not what I meant." Alexa sets down her container, suddenly serious. "I know. You want to know if this is real between us, or if I'm just grateful you believed me. Are you?" "Faith, I've spent my whole life having people either worship me like some mystical goddess, or dismiss me as a fraud. No one's ever just accepted me as human." Her voice breaks slightly on the last word, and something inside my chest cracks open. I've spent decades building walls to keep people at safe distances. But Alexa deserves better than my armor. I was engaged once, I admit, 8 years ago. Janet. She left because she said I loved my job more than her. Did you? No. I just didn't know how to show her otherwise. I set down my own food, needing her full attention. She was probably right, though. Easier to chase criminals than deal with feelings. What changed? You. That first night on the subway, you saw straight through everything I used to hide. I leaned closer, scared the hell out of me. Alexa's hand finds mine, fingers intertwining. I was terrified too. Not of your darkness, of how much light you actually carry. I don't feel very bright most days. That's because you've spent so long absorbing everyone else's pain, Sarah's, other victims. You carry their hurt so their families don't have to carry it alone. No one has ever understood that part of my job before. The weight I take on with every case, every crime scene photograph that haunts my dreams. Alexa sees it not as weakness but as purpose. How do you do it? I ask. Deal with all that spiritual energy constantly flowing through you? Some days I don't. Some days I lock myself in my apartment and cry for hours because I can. Feel every person who's ever died violently in a 10-block radius. Her grip on my hand tightens. The loneliness was the worst part. Until now. You're not alone anymore. Neither are you. The space between us disappears as I lean in to kiss her again. This time, there's no crime scene urgency, no rain or professional barriers. Just Alexa's soft mouth moving against mine, her hand cupping the back of my neck. When she pulls back, her eyes are dark with desire. Stay, I whisper against her lips. Faith, are you sure? Once we cross this line? I've been sure since that first moment on the subway. I lead her to my bedroom, suddenly self-conscious about the unmade bed and stack of case files on my dresser. But Alexa doesn't notice the mess. She only has eyes for me. We undress slowly, reverently, like we have all the time in the world. Her skin is porcelain pale with freckles scattered across her shoulders like constellations. When I trace one with my fingertip, she shivers. Beautiful, I murmur. Making love to Alexa feels like coming home to a place I never knew existed. Every touch, every whispered word, every shared breath builds something profound between us. She moves beneath me with gentle urgency, her hands mapping my body like she's memorizing every curve. Afterward, we lie tangled in my sheets, her head on my chest while my fingers comb through her hair. The city noise outside seems muted, like the world has given us this pocket of peace. I can feel your heartbeat, she says softly. Still alive, despite everything. More alive than you've been in years. She lifts her head to look at me. I can sense it, the change in your energy. Is that your psychic opinion or personal observation? Both, she grins. Also, you're smiling. When's the last time you really smiled? I think about it and can't remember. Months? Years? But lying here with Alexa, contentment spreads through my chest like warm honey. This scares me, I admit, feeling this much. Good scared or bad scared? Good scared. Like standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing the view will be worth the jump. Alexa kisses my collarbone, then settles back against me. I've been jumping off cliffs my whole life, Faith. Trust me, it's better when you're not jumping alone. Outside, snow begins to fall, the first of the season. Through my bedroom window, I watch flakes dance in the streetlight, and, for the first time in 20 years, winter doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like a beginning. 3 weeks after our first night together, Alexa and I have solved 2 more cases that had the department scratching their heads. The Henderson kidnapping, where her visions led us straight to the abandoned warehouse. The Wilson murder, where she identified the killer by touching the victim's wedding ring. Captain Morrison still looks at her like she might spontaneously combust, but results speak louder than skepticism. Anderson, we've got another one. Rodriguez calls across the bullpen. Missing teenager, Brooklyn. Family's desperate. I glance at Alexa, who's perched on the edge of my desk reading case files. She nods almost imperceptibly. She's already feeling something. We're on it. The Brennan family lives in a neat row house with flower boxes and American flag bunting. Mrs. Brennan's eyes are swollen from crying, while her husband paces like a caged animal. Emma's never stayed out past curfew, Mrs. Brennan says. Something's wrong. Alexa sits quietly in their daughter's bedroom, holding a stuffed elephant. I watch her face change, features sharpening with concentration. She's alive, Alexa says suddenly. Scared but alive. There's water nearby, a bridge, red brick buildings. The old warehouse district near the East River, I say immediately. We find Emma locked in a storage unit, dehydrated but unharmed. Her kidnapper, a registered sex offender who'd been watching the family for weeks, surrenders. Without resistance when confronted with the evidence Alexa helped us gather. How do you do it? Emma's father asks Alexa as paramedics check his daughter. How do you see these things? I just listen, Alexa replies simply. Back at the precinct, word spreads fast about our third consecutive miracle solve. Detective Williams from the 2-4 approaches my desk with barely concealed desperation. Anderson, I've got a cold case from 2019. Murder-suicide that never sat right with me. You think your consultant might take a look? We'll consider it, I say, enjoying the way Williams tries not to stare at Alexa. Later, over Chinese food in my apartment, Alexa sprawls across my couch with her feet in my lap. We're becoming famous, she says, stealing a piece of my orange chicken. Good famous or bad famous? Profitable famous. Williams offered us $5,000 for the cold case consultation. I nearly choke on my lo mein. $5,000? That's more than I make in a month from the city. Faith, we could do this professionally. Our own firm. Help people the system can't help. The idea sends excitement shooting through my veins. You really think we could make it work? Are you kidding? Half the precincts in New York would hire us tomorrow. Missing persons, cold cases, insurance fraud investigations. I set down my chopsticks, mind racing with possibilities. We'd need licenses, insurance, office space, and a name. Something that sounds official but not intimidating. Sixth Sense Investigations? Alexa grins. Perfect. Professional but mysterious. That night, we make love with a new intensity born of shared dreams and mutual ambition. Alexa moves above me with confident grace, her hair creating a golden curtain around our faces. Every touch carries promise of our future together, every whispered word, building towards something bigger than either of us imagined alone. I love you, she breathes against my neck as we reach our peak together. The words hit me like lightning, not just because she said them, but because I feel them echoing back from my own heart. I love you too, I whisper, and mean it more than I've ever meant anything. 2 months later, Sixth Sense Investigations has a small office in Queens and a client list that stretches across 3 boroughs. The Williams cold case broke open when Alexa's visions revealed the supposedly suicidal husband had actually been murdered by his business partner. Our success rate is approaching 90%. Next case comes with a $15,000 retainer, I tell Alexa, as we review invoices in our new office. From who? Manhattan attorney whose client was convicted of killing her husband. Claims she's innocent. Wants us to prove it before her appeal hearing. Alexa frowns, tapping her pen against our desk. That's a lot of money for one case. It's also a chance to save an innocent woman's life. Or destroy our reputation if we're wrong. I lean across the desk to kiss her forehead. We're not wrong. We haven't been wrong yet. Faith, what if our luck runs out? What if I stop seeing things clearly? What if we fail someone when it really matters? Then we deal with it together, like everything else. Her smile transforms her whole face. Together. I like the sound of that. Outside our window, Manhattan glitters in the winter evening light. 6 months ago, I was a burned-out detective going through the motions of a job that had stopped meaning anything. Now I'm building something meaningful with a woman who sees my soul and accepts every damaged piece. Ready to go home? Alexa asks, gathering her coat. Home. Not my apartment or her apartment, but the space we've created together. The life we're building, one case, one kiss, one shared dream at a time. Lead the way. 18 months after opening Sixth Sense Investigations, I'm staring at a bank statement that would have been unimaginable during my police days. Our account balance has 7 figures, and the phone hasn't stopped ringing since we solved the Carmichael murder case last month. Faith, we've got a problem, Alexa says, walking into our expanded Manhattan office with a stack of client requests. 3 new cases this week, all offering 6-figure retainers. And the problem is? Look at these. She spreads the files across my mahogany desk. A far cry from our metal folding table in Queens. Corporate espionage, insurance fraud investigation, securities theft. When did we become fixers for wealthy criminals? I scan the documents, seeing dollar signs where she apparently sees moral compromise. They're legitimate investigative services, Alexa. This is what success looks like. Success? Her green eyes flash with something I haven't seen before. Disappointment. Remember Emma Brennan? The kidnapped teenager whose parents couldn't afford our current rates? That was different. We were just starting out. Was it? Or have we forgotten why we started this business in the first place? The accusation stings because there's truth in it. Our original mission was helping people the system failed, not padding the bank accounts of Manhattan's elite. But the money is intoxicating after a lifetime of financial struggle. We've earned this, Alexa. Both of us. After everything we've sacrificed. What have I sacrificed exactly? My integrity? My purpose? Your anonymity? Your privacy? You think I don't see how the media attention affects you? She flinches, and I know I've hit a nerve. Last month's Forbes article about New York's most unusual detective duo brought unwanted spotlight to her psychic abilities. The follow-up pieces were less flattering, with skeptics questioning her methods and our success rate. That's not the same thing, Faith. Isn't it? We're finally financially secure. We can afford the best office, top-tier insurance, modern equipment. We're legitimate now. We were always legitimate. We just weren't wealthy. The tension between us crackles like electricity. This is our first real fight, and I'm not sure how to navigate it. Police work taught me to win arguments through authority and logic, but Alexa doesn't respond to either. Fine, I say, grabbing my jacket. I'll take the Hartwell corporate case myself. You can handle the warehouse robbery in Queens for whatever the family can afford. Faith, that's not what I meant. But I'm already walking out, needing space before I say something irreparable. The Hartwell case consumes the next week. Their CEO suspects his business partner of selling trade secrets to competitors, and the evidence trail leads through offshore accounts and encrypted communications. It's complex, lucrative, and exactly the kind of high-profile work that could set us up for life. Meanwhile, Alexa throws herself into the Queen's robbery case. Through our shared calendar, I see her working 16-hour days for a family who lost their small business to armed thieves. The insurance company denied their claim, leaving them with nothing. We barely speak at home, passing each other like polite strangers. She sleeps in the guest bedroom, claiming her visions are too intense for shared space. I know it's an excuse, but I'm too proud to call her on it. "Solve your corporate mystery yet?" she asks one morning over coffee, her voice carefully neutral. "Getting close." Hartwell's partner has been funneling proprietary information to their biggest competitor for 2 years. Clean case with clear evidence. Good for you. And Hartwell's paying what, $500,000? $700,000 actually. Alexa sets down her mug with deliberate control. The Torres family in Queens can afford $3,000 total for losing everything they spent 20 years building. That's not our fault, Alexa. But it could be our responsibility. We stare at each other across the kitchen island that suddenly feels like an ocean. The woman I fell in love with is right there, but somehow unreachable. "I need to go," I say. "Hartwell meeting at 9. That evening, I return home to find Alexa waiting in the living room with 2 glasses of wine and an expression I can't read. "We need to talk," she says. "About what?" "About what we've become. About what we used to be." I accept the wine, settling into the chair across from her instead of beside her on the couch. The distance feels intentional on both sides. "I remember our first night together," she continues. "You said I wasn't alone anymore. That neither of us was alone. We're still not alone, aren't we? When did you last tell me about a case that kept you awake at night? When did we last stay up talking about anything other than profit margins and client retainers?" Her words cut deeper because they're accurate. Success has made us efficient partners but distant lovers. We function like a well-oiled business machine now, but the intimate connection that created our partnership has somehow gotten lost. "So, what are you saying? That we should go back to working out of a closet for people who can't pay our bills?" "I'm saying we should remember why we started this. Together, to help people who needed help. And we can't do that as a successful business? Not when success becomes more important than service." I set down my wine, suddenly exhausted by the circular argument. "What do you want from me, Alexa?" "I want the woman who kissed me in the rain after we saved Sarah Mitchell's memory. I want the partner who cared more about justice than profit. That woman couldn't afford decent health insurance. That woman was happy." The observation hangs between us like an accusation. Am I happy? The bank account says yes, but my heart feels heavier than it has in months. I don't know how to go backward, I admit. I'm not asking you to go backward. I'm asking you to remember what moving forward was supposed to look like. Later that night, we make love for the first time in weeks. It's different now. Not the desperate passion of our early days, but something deeper and more fragile, as if we're trying to find our way back to each other through touch and whispered promises. "I love you," Alexa breathes against my shoulder as we move together in the darkness. "I love you too," I reply, meaning it despite everything pulling us apart. But love might not be enough to bridge the growing divide between who we were and who we're becoming. 3 weeks pass in tense silence before the Petrosky case lands on my desk. Industrial pharmaceutical company, international contracts worth $50 million. And evidence of corporate sabotage that could destabilize their entire operation. The retainer alone is enough to buy a house in the Hamptons. "I'm taking this case," I announced to Alexa over breakfast, sliding the contract across our kitchen table. She doesn't even look up from her cereal. "Of course you are. It's legitimate work, Alexa. Industrial espionage is a federal crime." "Since when do we care about federal crimes? I thought we were in the business of helping people who couldn't help themselves." "This is helping people. Petrosky employs 12,000 workers. If their contracts get sabotaged, entire families lose their jobs. And if we solve it, you get another 7-figure payday." She finally meets my eyes. "Tell me you're thinking about those 12,000 families and not the bonus money." Heat flashes through my chest. Why can't it be both? Because every hour you spend on corporate cases is an hour you're not helping someone who actually needs us. I grabbed the contract, stuffing it into my briefcase with more force than necessary. Fine. Handle the real charity cases yourself. I'll focus on the ones that pay our mortgage. Faith, don't do this. But I'm already walking out, my jaw clenched tight enough to crack teeth. The Petrosky case consumes the next 2 weeks. Their head of research and development has been selling proprietary drug formulas to competitors. But tracking the money trail requires more traditional detective work than psychic intuition. I interview employees, analyze financial records, and follow paper trails across 3 states. It's exactly the kind of logical, methodical investigation I trained for during my police years. No mysterious visions, no supernatural insights, just solid detective work that any competent investigator could handle. The thought hits me like a physical blow one evening as I review surveillance footage in our office. Do I even need Alexa anymore? The corporate clients never ask for psychic consultations. They want background checks, financial investigations, evidence collection, services any private detective can provide. Working late again? Alexa's voice from the doorway makes me jump. Petrosky case. Big breakthrough today. Good for you. She enters carrying 2 cups of coffee, one for each of us, a peace offering. Want to talk about it? Not much to discuss. Financial fraud, falsified documents, corporate espionage, standard white-collar crime. Standard for you, maybe. I wouldn't know where to start with that kind of investigation. That's not true. Your instincts are better than most trained detectives. My psychic instincts, sure. But this? She gestures at my computer screen full of spreadsheets and bank records. This is your world, Faith. I'm just along for the ride. The sadness in her voice catches me off guard. We've been so focused on our arguments about money and ethics that I missed something crucial. Alexa feels as disconnected from our new direction as I feel from our old mission. You're not just along for the ride. When was the last time a client specifically requested my services? When did someone hire us because they needed psychic insight? I think back through our recent cases and realize she's right. The high-paying corporate clients want my police experience and investigative skills. They tolerate Alexa as my eccentric partner, but they don't value her unique abilities. The Torres robbery case, I say finally, which paid $3,000 while your corporate cases bring in hundreds of thousands. Money isn't everything, Alexa. Tell that to our credit card statements. Tell that to the Manhattan office rent and the luxury car payments. She's thrown my own arguments back at me, and they sound hollow from her lips. When did financial success become my primary motivation? When did I stop caring about justice and start caring about profit margins? I'm trying to secure our future, I say weakly. Whose future? The people we used to help can't afford us anymore. The wealthy clients don't need my abilities. So what exactly are we securing? The question hangs between us like an indictment. Outside our office window, Manhattan glitters with the promise of endless opportunity and endless temptation. Success has given us everything we thought we wanted, and somehow left us both feeling empty. I don't know how to fix this, I admit. Neither do I. For the first time since we started fighting, honesty replaces anger. We're both lost, both questioning whether our partnership can survive success. Come home with me, I say. We can figure it out together. Can we? When was the last time we figured anything out together? You make unilateral decisions about cases. I complain about your choices. We argue until one of us storms out. That's not how I want things to be. But it's how things are. The drive home passes in uncomfortable silence. At our apartment, our expensive Manhattan apartment that screams success but whispers loneliness, we move around each other like careful strangers. I miss you, I say as we stand in our living room. I'm right here. No, you're not. The woman I fell in love with fought for justice even when it was dangerous. She risked everything to help people who needed help. And now? Now I don't know who either of us is anymore. Alexa crosses the space between us, her hand touching my cheek with familiar tenderness. For a moment, the woman I love looks back at me through those green eyes. We can find our way back, she whispers. Can we? Instead of answering, she kisses me. soft at first, then with growing desperation. Like she's trying to recapture something we've lost. I respond immediately, my arms pulling her against me with months of accumulated longing. But even as we kiss, even as desire flares between us, I can feel the distance that money and success have created. We're going through the motions of intimacy while our hearts remain carefully guarded. I love you, she says against my lips. I love you too. The words are true but incomplete. We love who we used to be, who we might become again, but the women standing in this expensive apartment feel like strangers wearing familiar faces. What happens now? I ask. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. We've been so focused on building something that we forgot to ask what we were actually building. Success, financial security. Everything we dreamed about. Did we? Or did we dream about helping people and somewhere along the way mistake money for meaning? I don't have an answer, and that silence might be the most honest thing between us in months. The discovery happens on a Tuesday morning while I'm reviewing Petrosky invoices. Hidden in our business account records, I find them. Transfers Alexa never mentioned. Pro bono cases scattered across 6 months, each one costing us thousands in unpaid time and resources. What the hell is this? I confront her in our Manhattan office, printouts spread across her desk like evidence at a crime scene. Alexa looks up from her coffee, completely calm. What does it look like? It looks like you've been running a charity behind my back. The Morrison kidnapping, the Walsh murder case, the Patterson missing person investigation. None of these people paid us a dime. They couldn't afford to pay us. So you decided to work for free? Without consulting me? You were too busy counting Petrosky dollars to notice families who needed help. Rage burns through my chest. Those Petrosky dollars pay for this office, our equipment, your salary. They keep us in business. They keep you in business. I never asked for Manhattan offices or luxury cars. No, you just asked for financial security. Remember that conversation about not worrying where next month's rent was coming from? Alexa stands, her green eyes blazing. I asked for partnership, faith. I asked for someone who would build something meaningful with me. Meaningful? You've cost us over $40,000 in unpaid cases. Do you understand what that means for our bottom line? Do you understand what it means for our souls? The question hits like a slap. When did I become someone who talks about bottom lines instead of justice? When did profit margins replace moral purpose? This isn't about souls, Alexa. It's about betrayal. You went behind my back, made unilateral decisions that affect our entire business. The same way you took the Petrosky case without consulting me? The same way you accept every corporate retainer that crosses your desk? That's business strategy. What you did is financial sabotage. What I did is remember why we started this company, to help people who couldn't help themselves. I grabbed the invoices, waving them between us. These people can't help themselves because they refuse to prioritize. The Pattersons spent $5,000 on a vacation last year but claimed they couldn't afford our standard rate. So they don't deserve to find their missing daughter? They deserve to make adult decisions about their finances. Listen to yourself, Faith. When did you become so cold? The accusation cuts deep because there's truth in it. Success has hardened edges I didn't know I possessed. The woman who kissed Alexa in the rain after solving Sarah Mitchell's murder seems like a stranger from someone else's life. I became realistic. Someone has to think about our future. What future exactly? We barely speak anymore. We sleep in separate bedrooms. We work different cases for different reasons. What are we even fighting to preserve? Our business, our partnership, everything we built together. We didn't build this together, Faith. You built this. I just got dragged along. The words hit like physical blows. That's not true. Isn't it? When did you last ask my opinion about taking a case? When did you last care what I thought about anything? I want to argue, but the evidence overwhelms me. Our recent conversations have been tactical discussions about money and logistics. We've stopped sharing dreams, stopped talking about meaning and purpose. So what are you saying? That you want out? I'm saying I want my partner back. The woman who believed justice mattered more than profit. And I'm saying I want a partner who doesn't undermine our business with secret charity work. We stare at each other across our expensive office, The distance between us measured in more than physical space. The Manhattan skyline glitters beyond our windows, a reminder of everything success has given us and everything it's cost. Maybe we want different things now, Alexa says quietly. Maybe we do. The admission hangs between us like a death sentence. After everything we've built, everything we've shared, we're splitting apart over fundamental differences about money and meaning. I'll pack my things, Alexa says, already moving toward her desk. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. We can't live together and work together when we disagree about everything that matters. Alexa, wait. We can work this out. Or can we? Tell me honestly, if I asked you to walk away from the corporate cases tomorrow, to go back to helping families like the Brennans and Torres, would you do it? The question requires honesty I'm not sure I can give. Walking away from high-paying corporate clients means returning to financial uncertainty. It means smaller offices, older cars, constant worry about making rent. My hesitation is answer enough. That's what I thought, she says, her voice thick with disappointment. It's not about the money, Alexa. It's about stability, security, building something that lasts. We had something that lasted. Until you decided it wasn't enough. She packs her personal items while I stand frozen, watching our partnership dissolve in real time. Photos from our early cases, the plant she bought for her desk, the coffee mug I gave her last Christmas. Each item represents a shared memory now tainted by our fundamental incompatibility. Where will you go? I ask as she closes the final box. I have friends. I'll figure it out. And the business? Keep it. The corporate clients want your investigative skills, not my psychic abilities anyway. The observation stings because it's accurate. Our recent success stems from traditional detective work, not supernatural insight. Alexa has become superfluous to our most profitable cases. What about us? The question escapes before I can stop it. Us? She looks at me with something that might be pity. There is no us anymore, Faith. There's just you and your corporate clients and your profit margins. That's not fair. Neither is abandoning everything we believed in for money. She carries her boxes toward the door, then turns back one last time. I hope it's worth it, she says. I hope all that success fills whatever hole you're trying to fill. Alexa, don't leave like this. But she's already gone, leaving me alone in an office that suddenly feels cavernous. The silence stretches endlessly, broken only by Manhattan traffic humming far below. I sit at my desk, surrounded by the trappings of success that now feel hollow as stage props. The Petrovsky case files mock me with their promise of financial reward, while Alexa's empty desk reminds me what I've sacrificed to achieve it. For the first time in months, I wonder if she's right. Have I lost myself chasing someone else's definition of success? Have I traded the woman I loved for the business I thought we both wanted? The questions echo through our empty office, like ghosts of better intentions. And I have no answers that don't condemn everything I've become. 2 months without Alexa, and success tastes like sawdust. The Petrovsky case closed with $1 million bonus, but I celebrated alone with takeout. Chinese and a bottle of wine that cost more than most families spend on groceries. The apartment echoes with her absence. Empty coffee cups, silent mornings, conversations with no one. I throw myself into corporate cases with manic intensity, insurance fraud investigations, financial audits, background checks for Fortune 500 executives. The money flows in faster than I can spend it, and every deposit feels like another nail in the coffin of who I used to be. Faith, you look like hell, Rodriguez says when I visit the precinct for old time's sake. Success eating you alive? Something like that. Where's your psychic partner? Haven't seen her around. We dissolve the partnership. He raises an eyebrow but doesn't push. Smart man. That afternoon, my phone rings. Detective Sarah Chen from the 5th Precinct, voice tight with desperation. Anderson, I need help. 8-year-old girl missing in Chinatown. Been gone 4 days. Family's convinced she was taken, but we've got no leads and no witnesses. I don't handle kidnapping cases anymore. Try the FBI. The family specifically asked for you. Said they heard about your success rate. Then they heard wrong. I'm corporate investigations now. Faith, please. This kid's name is Lily Chen. No relation, just coincidence. but I keep seeing my own daughter's face when I look at her photo. Something in Chen's voice cracks my professional armor. Send me the file. I'll take a look. What about your partner, the one who sees things? She's not my partner anymore. Is she available for consultation? The question hits like a physical punch. I don't know. We don't exactly keep in touch. 20 minutes later, I'm staring at Lily Chen's school photo and feeling something I haven't experienced in months. That familiar ache in my chest that means someone needs help I can't provide through financial records and corporate interviews. An 8-year-old girl with pigtails and a gap-toothed smile disappeared while walking home from school through the same neighborhood her family has lived in for 10 years. No history of running away, no family problems, no obvious suspects. The kind of case that requires more than traditional detective work. The kind that needs Alexa's gift. I dial her number before courage abandons me. Faith. Her voice carries no warmth, no surprise. Just acknowledgement. I have a case. Missing child, 8 years old. Then, handle it. You're the successful detective. I need your help. Silence stretches between us, filled with 2 months of accumulated hurt and stubborn pride. You made it very clear that my services weren't necessary for your new business model. This isn't about business. It's about a little girl named Lily Chen who's been missing for 4 days. Another pause. Where? Chinatown. Can you meet me at the family's restaurant? This is a one-time consultation, Faith. Nothing more. I understand. The Golden Dragon restaurant sits empty except for the Chen family clustered around table 12. Mrs. Chen looks like she hasn't slept in days, while her husband paces behind the counter with cellular phone pressed against his ear, calling anyone who might have information. Alexa arrives wearing jeans and a sweater I bought her last Christmas, looking thinner than I remember. Her green eyes avoid mine as she approaches the family. Mrs. Chen, I'm Alexa Young. I'm here to help find Lily. Mrs. Chen grabs Alexa's hands immediately. Please, she's never been gone this long. Something's wrong. Do you have something of Lily's? Something personal? Mrs. Chen produces a small stuffed panda, worn soft from years of bedtime cuddling. Alexa closes her eyes, holding the toy against her chest. The change happens instantly. Alexa's breathing slows, her face goes pale, and that familiar otherworldly stillness settles over her features. She's alive, Alexa whispers. Scared, but alive. There's water, always water around her, dripping sounds. The sewers? I suggest. No. Higher up, industrial, metal stairs. She can see sky through dirty windows. Old warehouse district? Close, but not empty. People work there during the day. She hears machinery, voices. I pull out my phone, consulting maps of the area. Water treatment facility on Delaney Street. Industrial building with residential apartments above. That's it. Alexa's eyes snap open, focusing on me with laser intensity. She's on the 3rd floor, room facing east. There's a man with a scar across his palm. How long do we have? Not long. He's getting nervous about police attention. Planning to move her tonight. Mrs. Chen starts crying, relief and terror warring across her face. Thank you. Thank you for seeing her. The building on Delaney Street looks exactly as Alexa described. Industrial base with dingy residential units above. We approach with backup from Chen's precinct, my heart pounding with familiar adrenaline. 3rd floor, east-facing unit, I tell the tactical team. The door splinters under the battering ram, revealing a sparse apartment and a man with a scarred palm trying to push a terrified 8-year-old girl out the fire escape window. NYPD, release the child. The takedown happens fast and clean. Lily Chen runs into my arms, sobbing with relief and asking for her mother. The kidnapper, a registered sex offender who'd been watching the school for weeks, surrenders without resistance when faced with overwhelming evidence. How did you know? He asks as we cuff him. How did you find her so fast? Someone was watching over her, I reply, looking at Alexa. Later at the precinct, Lily is reunited with her parents while we process paperwork. The joy on Mrs. Chen's face when she holds her daughter reminds me why I became a cop in the first place. Thank you, Mrs. Chen tells us both. How much do we owe you? Nothing, Alexa says immediately. Just hug your daughter tight. Outside the precinct, Alexa and I stand under a streetlight like strangers trying to remember how to talk to each other. That was good work, I say finally. It was the work we used to do together. Before you decided it wasn't profitable enough. Alexa, about everything that happened. Don't. Just don't. She starts walking toward the subway. I'm glad we found Lily, but this doesn't change anything between us. It changes everything. I remembered who I used to be, who we used to be together. She stops, turning back with tears in her eyes. And tomorrow you'll go back to your corporate cases and your profit margins. And this will be just another story you tell at cocktail parties. What if I don't? What if I walk away from all of it? You won't. How do you know? Because I've seen your future, Faith. You're very successful and very alone, and you tell yourself that's enough. The vision hits me like ice water. Is that really my path? Corporate success and emotional emptiness? Money without meaning? I don't want that future. Then change it. She disappears down the subway stairs before I can respond, leaving me standing alone under the streetlight with nothing but the echo of her words and the memory of Lily Chen's grateful smile. For the first time in months, I know exactly what I have to do. Monday morning, I walk into the Petrosky corporate offices and resign from their case. $2 million in potential earnings, gone with a single phone call. My assistant thinks I've lost my mind, but I've never felt more clear-headed. What do you mean you're withdrawing? Petrosky's CEO demands over speakerphone. I mean, find another investigator. I'm changing business models. Next, I cancel the Manhattan office lease, liquidate the luxury equipment, and downsize everything that screams expensive success. By Wednesday, I'm back in Queens with a simple storefront that costs 1/10 of our old rent. The sign painter arrives Thursday morning. 6 Sense Investigations goes back up in modest black letters, followed by smaller text, sliding scale fees, no family left behind. I'm arranging folding chairs when Rodriguez appears in my doorway. Heard you lost your mind, he says, surveying the sparse office. Found it, actually. Where's the psychic? Working out of her apartment in Brooklyn. We're not partners anymore. Too bad. You two were good together. He leaves before I can explain that good together and staying together are different things. The first client walks in Friday afternoon, Maria Santos, whose husband disappeared 3 months ago. The police closed his case after determining he left voluntarily, but Maria insists something happened to him. I can pay $50, she says, clutching a worn envelope. It's all I have after the rent. $50 works. I spend 6 hours reviewing police reports and interviewing neighbors. Traditional detective work reveals inconsistencies in the timeline and witness statements suggesting foul play. By evening, I have 3 solid leads the original investigation missed. Why are you helping me? Maria asks when I call with updates. Other private investigators wanted thousands. Because you need help, and I can provide it. It's that simple. Somehow I'd forgotten. 2 weeks later, Maria's husband is found alive in a hospital outside Philadelphia, suffering from amnesia after a hit-and-run accident. The reunion makes the local news, but more importantly, it makes Maria's 3 children smile again. Word spreads through the community networks that traditional advertising never reaches. Families who've been ignored by the system start appearing at my door. Missing teenagers, unsolved burglaries, suspicious insurance claims, cases that require intuition more than financial analysis. I'm reviewing a domestic violence case when she walks in. Alexa stands in my doorway wearing a blue dress I've never seen, her blonde hair shorter than I remember. She looks around the modest office with something that might be approval. This is more like it, she says. More like what? More like the woman I fell in love with. My heart stops beating for several seconds. I heard about Maria Santos. And the Fletcher kidnapping. And that elderly couple whose life savings got stolen by their contractor. News travels fast. Good news travels fastest. She steps closer, and I catch that familiar scent of jasmine perfume. I also heard you're working 16-hour days for families who pay in casseroles and thank you cards. They pay what they can. And you're sleeping on the office couch because you can't afford rent on 2 places. Temporarily. Faith, you gave up millions of dollars to help people who can't help themselves. Someone recently reminded me that money isn't everything. Someone recently learned that partnerships require compromise from both sides. We stare at each other across the small office, two women who loved each other enough to fight about principles, who cared enough to walk away when those principles diverged. I've been doing charity cases too, she admits. Grieving families who need closure. Parents whose children talk to imaginary friends that might not be imaginary. How's that working financially? Terribly. I'm broke and sleeping on my friend Katie's couch. Want to be broke together? Her smile transforms her entire face. Are you offering me a job, Detective Anderson? I'm offering you a partnership. 50-50 split of whatever we earn. Whether that's $50 or $50,000. What about when we disagree on cases? We discuss it like adults instead of making unilateral decisions. What about when you want to expand and I want to stay small? We find middle ground that honors both our values. What about when the bills pile up and corporate clients offer easy money? We remember why we're doing this work in the first place. Alexa crosses the space between us, her hands cupping my face with familiar tenderness. What about when I drive you crazy with psychic insights that don't make logical sense? I listen anyway, because you're usually right. What about when you drive me crazy with procedural requirements and evidence protocols? You suffer through it, because structure keeps us out of legal trouble. She laughs, and the sound fills every empty corner of my heart. I've missed you, she whispers. I've missed me too. The me I am when I'm with you. Our kiss is soft at first, tentative, like we're testing whether the magic still exists between us. Then familiarity takes over, and we're holding each other with months of accumulated longing. Partners? I ask against her lips. Partners, in business and everything else. 6 months later, we're celebrating Sixth Sense Investigation's 2nd anniversary with takeout Chinese on our office floor. The business is thriving in ways that have nothing to do with profit margins, families reunited, mysteries solved, justice served for people the system overlooked. We got the Hendricks case today, Alexa says, twirling lo mein on plastic chopsticks. Missing inheritance documents. They can pay $2,000? Good. That covers rent and utilities. We also got the Morrison consultation. Corporate espionage case. They're offering $50,000. I consider it for exactly 3 seconds. What's your gut feeling? That Morrison Industries treats their employees like garbage and probably deserves whatever corporate espionage they're experiencing. Declined. Just like that? Just like that. Alexa grins, producing a small velvet box from her jacket pocket. In that case, I have something for you. Inside is a simple silver band inscribed with tiny letters, partners in everything. Alexa. It's not an engagement ring. It's a partnership ring. A promise that we'll keep choosing each other and this work, even when it's hard. I slip the ring onto my finger, where it fits perfectly. I have something for you too. From my desk drawer, I pull out an identical box containing a matching band. Great minds, she laughs, extending her hand so I can slide the ring into place. Great partnerships. Outside our windows, Queens bustles with the energy of working families and small dreams. Tomorrow will bring new cases, new challenges, new opportunities to help people who need help. We'll make enough money to survive, enough difference to matter, and that's exactly enough. Ready to go? Alexa asks, gathering our dinner containers. Home. Not my apartment or her apartment, but the space we've created together, built on shared values instead of shared success, partnership instead of profit. Lead the way, partner. As we lock up the office, I catch our reflection in the glass door. 2 women who found each other, lost each other, and chose each other again. Who learned that the best things in life aren't measured in bank statements, but in hearts changed, families healed, and justice served. The future stretches ahead, uncertain but full of possibility. Together we can handle whatever comes next.